Welcome back to Spinning the Connectivity, the podcast bringing you the people, perspectives, and the stories driving the UK's connectivity industry forward. As always, I'm your host, Ben Shoesmith from the Virgin Media Business Marketing team. And in each episode, we're joined by industry leaders, exploring the emerging trends, discussing the challenges shaping the market, and uncovering the opportunities businesses should be paying more attention to. So, wherever you're listening to from today, grab a drink, settle in, let's get into the episode and spill the connectivity. Today's episode is a big one because we're diving into a topic that's at the heart of every successful partnership: trust. Whether you're working with long-standing partners or building new relationships, trust is often the difference between a transactional interaction or a truly strategic partnership. But how do you earn it, maintain it, and make sure it's reflected in every touch point? To help us unpack all of that, I'm delighted to be joined by Stacey Ellwood, Head of Partner Success in the Virgin Media Business team. We'll be discussing the behaviours, communication styles, and leadership principles that help create long-lasting, trusting relationships. So welcome to the podcast, Stacey.
Thanks, Ben, for having me.
How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. Survived the heat and the...
Just about, yeah. Although having just got back from holiday, I think it was hotter here than it was
Oh, really?
where we were. Yeah.
Where did you go?
We were in Crete.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very, very nice. Well, just to start off the podcast, for any listeners that aren't familiar with yourself, it'd be great if you could just give a little introduction about you and your career.
Yeah, absolutely. So Stacey Ellwood, I'm Head of Partner Success here at Virgin Media Business. I have been in this role for about a year. It's literally a year since my start date, I think, this week. So yeah, thank you. It's gone very quick. And before that, I've been with Virgin more widely for 4 years in total. I came over to lead our ex-GSPON build in the South region. So I did that for 3 years, which was amazing. Prior to that, I've been in the telecoms industry all in for about 12 years, working in various different roles, always focusing around transformation or partnerships and sort of working with different partners to build or to lead transformation projects. But yeah, a bit of a variety of different roles through the telecoms industry.
Great, love to see it. Before we dive into everything, trust and partner trust, there's a few questions just for our listeners to get to know you a little bit better. So the first one, what is your perfect tea break? So in other words, how do you like to relax and switch off?
So I think if it's just a tea break, it's probably literally just a quick coffee out an espresso machine, not very glamorous. But if I am fully trying to unwind, then I'm big into, I think this is a real late 30s cliche, I'm big into a bit of reformer Pilates and a little coffee afterwards. But otherwise, yeah, I just try and get as much time with my kids as possible, and then sort of try and have as much downtime away from phones, away from laptop, really try and switch off.
Yeah, it's so important. For me, I was thinking about this on the way up. It's either one of two. So I either am doom scrolling on my phone, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Which goes against what you just said, or I'm like in the gym working out. For me, that is like a big thing. I tried to, similar to what you said, when I'm not working, get outside, especially with it being such nice weather recently.
Yeah.
Go for a walk in the evening, or switch off that way and just
definitely
detox. Next one, as you said, you just come back from holiday. What is your tipple of choice when on holiday?
I think it's a tough one, isn't it? I mean, I think, sampling all the menu is really important while you're on holiday. But in the day, probably just, iced coffee, or like, a Fanta lemon.
Yeah, I agree with
very,
you on that.
very Euro. And then in the evening, sun going down, a nice rosé.
Yeah.
Can't beat it.
Love it. No, I agree. It depends on what we're doing. Depends on the vibe of the holiday. In the day, if I'm around the pool, staying hydrated, the water,
Definitely,
the Fanta
water.
lemon.
Yeah.
And then in the evening, depends. If we're going classy, then maybe a nice bottle of wine. If I'm out, then it could be anything. And this one you can make of what you will. But is there any tea you want to spill, just generally, like what's been on your mind recently?
Coming back from holiday, I'm second day back after holiday. So generally a bit of holiday blues. I think first day back, trying to get through that mountain of emails, work out what needs to be dealt with priority and what's been and gone and you've already missed and someone's covered for you.
Yeah.
But I think it's always hard coming back after a break, in terms of just getting back into the swing of things. And I know a lot of my team are off at the moment as well. So it's, making sure we're supporting everyone coming back in, and it only takes a couple of days and then you're back into the swing of it. I do think being on podcast day 2 probably focuses the mind a little more than
What
usual.
a way to come back to work.
So but it's been post-holiday blues, but I think everyone can sympathise with that a little.
And you know what? I will definitely echo you on that. I think I've still got holiday blues from my Brazil trip, which was
that was
4
a big
months
one.
ago.
Yeah.
So, I still think about that every day. But it's actually such a real thing, like getting back into the swing of it. It does take a little while. And also it's like the mentality of it. Like I find if you're away for a week or more, you actually do switch off from work, and you feel like, oh, this is life now.
Absolutely.
I have to work. So
I think it's really important to actually have that time, that like proper break where it's not just a weekend away or a few days, you actually step away from things, because although you can be hard to come back to, I think it's really reinvigorating as well. And it actually gives you back a bit of that passion and drive to sort of see things differently. And I think as well, you have those moments as well of clarity when you step away from something.
100%. And it's like switching off when on holiday. Like I used to be guilty of like checking Teams emails. But what I do now is actually just delete the app whilst I'm away, or turn off the notifications completely, then I'm not tempted to look.
That's very good.
So, yes. What's been making your blood boil recently? Anything you want to kind of get out there, have a vent about?
Tricky one. This weather, I guess we are into like 2 months with no rain in the southeast. So I know everyone else loves the sun. I'm a bit of a shade dweller. So I would love a bit of rain. My garden is currently absolutely parched. All my plants are basically dead. The lawn is completely brown. So the hosepipe bans are not amazing. Obviously, very important considering we're in a drought. But that would be brilliant if we could just have a bit of rain. There was like 3 spots in my garden yesterday. I got really
morning,
excited.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Didn't it smell so nice? Actually?
It was
That's a weird
lovely.
thing to say.
Yeah.
But it really did.
Yeah.
I've had a couple festivals recently, and like the grass, it's like hay.
Yeah.
And it's so dusty. Then I come away from like my white Air Force trainers were suddenly a shade of brown. And like blowing my nose afterwards. It was all dusty and disgusting. But then saying that, I actually love the weather.
Yeah.
I would much rather it be like this than freezing cold. I hate.
Yeah, that's the thing. We always moan, right? Whatever it is.
One way or another.
Yeah,
and also like something I want to spill as well is like, this isn't just a heat wave nowadays. This is just going to be our summers.
Normal life, yeah.
Global warming, not to delve too much into that, but it's true. Like,
we need to be a bit more.
We need to get used to this.
Yeah, a bit more adaptable to it.
Something that's been making my blood boil recently is ticket prices for like concerts or festivals and things like that. It is crazy. Like, it doesn't stop me. That's the thing. Because like, it doesn't take me a lot to get a ticket, but it's astronomical recently. It's just crazy how they can charge so much. Yeah. But then it's for live experiences. Yeah. And if that's what you love and what makes you happy. Exactly. It very much does make me happy. And, if my favourite artist is going on tour, I will be there one way or another. Who have you seen recently? Recently, I saw Ray at the weekend. Oh, wow. At a festival. I saw Bruno Mars recently and Harry Styles as well. They're amazing. Really yeah, I've got a lot coming up as well in summer. So cool. Well, as we know today, we're talking about partner trust and everything around that. You kind of mentioned your career today at the start of it. For those that don't know what partner success is, could you talk about the role of that and the role you play as head of partner success? Yeah, absolutely. So partner success sit at the point in a partner's journey where a circuit goes live. So once it's been delivered and it's in the ground and there is a service running over it, we step in and we support the partner in their journey, anything that happens in life. So anything that happens in their service journey. And that could be supporting on escalations, providing information, giving service updates, and really making sure they've got everything they need in order to provide the information to their end customer as well. Where we're moving to in terms of our service is to become more proactive in that and to start supporting our partner in a more strategic way. So we will be getting involved more widely in the issues and the challenges that our partners might be facing, but also really developing a much more
a deeper relationship, which isn't just transactional, but we really work alongside them. We are hand in glove with them to build those partnerships and to really advocate for them as well internally. We have a pretty unique perspective in that we can understand the issues that our partners are facing, and we have a responsibility to make sure that the rest of the organisation understands that. And so we are sort of a really unusual point in the organisation where we can listen to the feedback, but we also have the responsibility to make sure the action is taken off the back of it.
No, it makes sense. And our partner success managers are aligned to accounts, aren't they, as well?
They are. So yeah, they are aligned. It depends on the sort of size of the account and the partner's individual needs. So how much service they require, what they have purchased with us, all different things. So we look at each account sort of individually, and then a partner success manager sits alongside our account management team, their commercial lead, and that sort of provides the service wrap that sits end-to-end journey for each of our partners.
Makes sense. And our PSMs are an integral part of that customer experience. But just to go back to themes of trust, what are the first steps in building that trust with partners?
So trust, I think, is a really interesting one. It's a really big theme that we're seeing across not just VM wholesale, but wider across VMO2. Partner and customer trust is absolutely a core pillar for how we are operating as a business. And that, comes with some challenges, and I think is a real cultural shift for us as well. But something that we're seeing in every conversation that's being had is customer and partner first. And I think with partner trust, it's something that is really hard to win, but is very easily broken. So it is very precious in that way. True. We really need to build it up. And I think the way we build it is by having those open communication, open conversations to really ensure that we are listening to a partner and that a partner can come and talk to us. They don't feel that they need to be sort of separate to us, that they need to be part of our team, and we are a team together. And then it's maintaining that trust is really important as well. So how do we continue to deliver on the things we say we're going to? So do what we say, be clear about what we're going to do, not overpromise. We do have limitations. Like any business, we have finite amount of resources and we have to prioritize. And I think it's about having those really clear conversations that sometimes we can't do everything, but we will always try our best and we will always be very clear on what we can do. And that's how my team are sort of working to build those partner relationships and build that trust and just be really transparent. Stuff does go wrong sometimes. And, when a delivery goes off track or there is a fault, it's about how we provide the information, how we get back on track, and those points of stress within the journey. I think that's where trust is truly built.
No, I completely agree. And I think like the themes of communication, that carries internally too. So like the partner success managers we have, they communicate how like the feedback from partners, right? And then we drive improvements based off of that. So communication is probably the integral part of it all. And I think having like the partner success manager, aligned to each account, it goes to that human level approach and that people first. That's something we pride ourselves on. There's not too much automation, and that's something we pride our customers.
Yeah, definitely. I think that human relationship and that human dynamic, that can't be replaced. And being able to pick up the phone to someone and have a conversation and really understand what the other person needs and what their motivators are for that conversation, that is a really a unique selling point, I think, for Virgin and what we can provide.
Yeah, and like, we're more than happy to bring together different departments, right?
Absolutely,
so whether it's delivery, force, digital, sales, like that is an integral part of it, and that's something that partner success and trust is all about. Great. So on to flip the question, what are some barriers to partner trust?
I think some of the key barriers that we face with an organisation of our size is a bit of the way we're set up. Some of our historical focuses as well will have meant that there's a certain way of doing things, sort of some structural or organisational barriers, if you like, to bringing that collaboration together that we just talked about.
Yeah.
And I think whilst we will always try and push those, there is a natural sort of comfort sometimes in some of those processes and ways of doing things. And what we're trying to do as a team is actually look at the way we do stuff And what could we do differently in that process? What could be something that we could change to support the customer? What could be something that we do differently or that we challenge? Or if we're bringing something new to the market or a new way of doing things, what does the customer experience actually feel like for that? You know, live our partners' shoes. And if they are using a new interface, for example, we really need to make sure that we've tested that partner journey and that it gives them what they need. So I think one of the big barriers is that organizational structure. But I think in terms of where we are with fixed wholesale, I've never seen a organization so clearly aligned behind its corporate strategy before. It's so clear where we're going. It's so clear what our priorities are. And the team are really, really engaged with that. And that engagement has been seen through so much of our internal metrics. We've got a really high internal NPS score, and we're really, really pleased with that. And I think you can really see it as well in a really connected, joined up leadership team across Diego's organisation, which has been really refreshing, I think. I've never seen it in any organisation I've worked in where the aims of what we need to achieve are so clear. And I think that what that's doing is really helping us to break down barriers, break down silos, but also bring the partners' priorities and interests to the fore, because everyone is getting behind those clear, really, really clear aims.
And in that restructure you mentioned, customer delivery is now closer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wholesale, right?
So in the sort of wider organisation of fixed wholesale and customer delivery, we have got our delivery colleagues sitting within the same sort of structure as us, and bringing that collaboration across. We speak to our field teams and have those connections there, because they're the guys who are out fixing our networks and expanding our networks. And it's really key that they understand the impacts that they could potentially have on our partners in live service. If we're pulling a node out, we need to know why and where and what's happening. And we've been doing a lot of work within my team to really get our partners sort of priorities and generally the profile of fixed wholesale across the business. We're doing a lot of work to elevate that and really attending sort of internal town hall style calls to make sure people understand exactly what we're doing. And there's been a whole campaign about really elevating the partners' visibility, and something that we're really pleased about how that's gone. And I think that's really starting to reflect in some of the conversations we're having internally as well.
For sure as well. I think like a potential barrier as well is not being transparent when things do go wrong. And, we have held our hands up a few years back. We weren't in the best place, but we are moving forward. We're our best by a lot of metrics service wise now. So it's just being upfront about that kind of thing as well.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely. I think we need to be ambitious, but we also do have limitations. We can't overpromise and deliver everything immediately. So it's about being really clear on what our priorities are and making sure we deliver against them.
And like creating those time-based actionable plans
definitely
to overcome that, and communicating that out as well. So we've done a lot of work internally with our partner success strategy, obviously you're the head of, to make sure it's structured, scalable and commercially impactful too. Could you walk us through how you're evolving how we're evolving our own offering from that service level?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have an ambition within those strategic pillars that I just mentioned. We have an ambition to be best in class for customer service within fixed wholesale. So we want to be industry leaders in terms of what we provide as our service wrap. And there are 4 pillars that we want to sit behind that we think are going to move us there. And we have sort of a plan and a strategy that sits behind these 4. So the first is trusted outcomes. So really delivering what we say we're going to deliver. Clarity, really clear deliverables, and doing what we say we're going to do. The next is proactive partnerships. So really bringing our people closer to the partner, having a greater understanding of the partner's strategy, the key drivers, the motivators, the things that they need in order to serve their end customers, and really moving that from a more transactional relationship to something that is really us working together, having a really close alignment of our outcomes. The third is around smarter, simpler tools. So at the moment we have our Engage portal, and that has a lot of functionality in there. It's not foolproof. Sometimes it has some glitches, and there is definitely some capability we want to bring in. We want to look at what that automation journey does look like. So whilst the human connection is always going to be what differentiates us, we also have got use cases where we know our partners need better information, quicker information, clearer information. And those are the things we're going to be focusing on. And the final one is that consistent experience. It's something I'm really passionate about, is that any partner who is on a partner success journey and has a partner success manager has a feeling of that deep relationship and that they know what to expect from us and that everyone has the same experience. So we're equipping the team with all the training that they need, all the skills they need, all of the new products or new things that we can offer our partners, that they're skilled up in those. And the partner success team, they are a fantastic bunch. I'm very lucky to have such a wonderful team.
Yeah.
They are so motivated, so passionate about customer experience, so experienced. They have so much knowledge. And what I really want to do is give them full reign to go and own those partner experiences and partner relationships. And they really are taking that on. And I think it's just about making sure that we're constantly pushing to the next level and we're constantly elevating the experience. But yeah, we've got a fantastic foundation that we're working with in the team.
Sure.
So yeah, I'm very lucky.
That goal, right? We were talking about this before we started filming, was for them to be viewed as part of that team.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I want them to feel like they belong to the partner. There's a phrase that we use, and I know Raza has something similar in his team, but we just call it wearing the lanyard, which we did steal from one of our key partners who said that when we're at our best, it feels like we wear their lanyard into VM. And I think that's really, really important, is we want to feel like we're an advocate for the partner. And that's always a balance because we're a business too, and we have our own, aims and targets and things we need to achieve.
Yeah.
But we need to do that alongside our partners. And it's that mutual success that's going to lead to mutual growth and really strengthen those partnerships, I think.
Of course. Makes sense. In terms of partner success, again, widely speaking, what have been the big wins recently in partner success?
Yeah, it's been a really great year. I think we've seen some absolutely brilliant improvements across the organisation. So one that we talked about, Partner Connect, Diego talked about our score of our NPS reaching 43, which is the highest we've ever had. Supporting that is also the most responses that we've ever had. So for us, it's not only that the metric is going up, but it's becoming more and more statistically significant.
Yeah.
And the thing that we get from that also is the richness of the feedback. So every verbatim that comes out of that survey is like gold to us, because it really helps us to, one, validate that the things we're working on are correct, but two, create the pipeline of what needs to come next from our partners and where we're focusing on. And the pieces that have come off the back of that in terms of that collaboration that we talked about, new forums, I have weekly NPS calls where we come together and talk about all the different projects that we're on, and that connection across fixed wholesale and customer delivery is really evident there, which is amazing.
Yeah.
We've just had the Q3 results.
Fresh off the press.
Yeah, so I'm not going to give the number, but it's even higher than the 43.
Yeah.
And again, a really amazing response rate. So we are so pleased with how it's gone. And the reason I think we feel so buoyed by it is because it shows that the work we're doing is paying off for our partners. We're seeing those scores go up. We're seeing the richness of the conversations that come about it. But it shows that we're doing the right things. That investment that we're putting in that transformation it's a great tick for us. And it's also great for our teams who are doing the work behind the scenes, who don't necessarily have that partner day-to-day interaction. So that's been absolutely fantastic. And then I think more personally for my team, one of the things we're really seeing is a big pull from our partners to have us working more closely with them actually in their offices and in their spaces. And for me, that really represents a bit of a step change. We're spending way more time with them. We're developing sort of like those personal relationships, not just a transactional relationship that you can have. It is business, but we do want to be able to check in after a weekend and see how someone's holiday was, and all of those great things that make coming to work, feel like it's a personal connection. So we are seeing that much more, and I think the team love that. They get a lot out of it, and it's those little conversations where we can help to find the next opportunity or help to find the next thing that we could support on, that we wouldn't get if we weren't sat with our partners.
And that goes back to the point of like being one team together, right? I think as well, we've recently launched the Voice of the Customer sessions as well, along similar lines.
Yeah, they are fantastic. So we launched these this year, and what we do is bring a cross-section of VM, so not just within fixed wholesale and not just within customer delivery, but wider. Anyone who touches the partners experience. So that could be our change teams, that could be our faults teams. They come and we ask the partner a list of questions that we provide in advance, and the partner just tells us what their experience is. You know, the good, the bad, the indifferent, or I don't mind that.
Yeah.
What needs to change, what's the next opportunity. And that has been so impactful for helping us to understand. And we don't offer any solutions in those meetings. We don't defend anything that potentially is not that pretty. We just listen. And so we've got a really full roster now out to the end of the year where partners have sort of said, yeah, I'd really like to partake in the Voice of the Customer sessions. So yeah, it's really great. It's something we will look to continue. And definitely as well, those partners that have been in, we will look to sort of revisit and make sure that
Close the loop. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that's one of the things as well that I don't think I mentioned when we talked about trust is we really need to demonstrate and tell our partners what we're doing.
Yeah.
Because it's all great internally, we can see the difference, but if we don't tell people what we're doing, that is a real missed opportunity to build that trust.
For sure. Obviously, your role is an external facing one, but a big part of your role is leading the teams.
Yeah.
So in terms of like leadership style and internal culture, how do you like to, what do you promote with your teams? And how do you think that affects the partner experience externally?
Yeah, I think the team, I really foster a spirit of collaboration and openness. I like everyone to bring themselves to work and be able to be fully themselves. You know, we spend most of our time awake at work. So it's great that when you can go and feel comfortable in that environment. And we all have a lot of challenging things we need to do. But I think if we can do that in a way that's high challenge with high support, that for me is really where people do excel.
Yeah.
And I look to the team to support each other as well as being just within the support, you know, that comes down from leadership.
Yeah.
Each one of my teams is an experienced leader and manager, and they also are so collaborative across the piece. So definitely bringing people together, collaboration, and having them able to sort of own their own experiences and push forward. I think as well, I'm really keen for people to seek out development opportunities, and it doesn't necessarily have to be things that are given to them, but if you can carve something out, if you can see an opportunity, go away, understand it, create a plan, and bring that to the leadership team or to your peers to be able to elevate things. I think that really is a big opportunity to sort of develop and bring on your next steps as well. So I think we're very lucky in VM that we have fantastic employee networks, and there's a lot of space for people to seek those opportunities out, whether they can be within your core work or they can be more widely as well.
No, completely. And I think it's having that personal sort of motivations you've just touched on, but we're all working towards the same thing as well, and know that we're all in this. Sounds like a High School Musical, doesn't it? But we
don't ask stop singing.
Together.
But yeah, I do completely agree. I think that there's a very supportive network across fixed wholesale.
Yeah.
So we are very lucky, and I think people will continue to develop, and we'll see some real talent coming out. And in partner success, I really do believe we've got like the next level of leaders coming through.
Yeah.
So it's all about those opportunities that we can give the team.
Great. Well, sadly, we are nearing the end of today's conversation. It's flown by, I think.
Has, yeah.
But before we end every episode, we always do our Spill It Quick segment.
Okay.
So these are some quick fire questions I'm going to fire your way. Not looking for anything like overly thought out, well complex, just whatever comes to mind first. And then everyone gets the same questions.
Okay.
So the first one, what is the industry myth you'd like to stir up or set straight?
Oh, okay. I think for me, there's a bit of a myth that all connectivity is the same. You know, from point A to point B, that it's just a circuit and that it's just traffic over the top. For me, it's what happens around that. So how does your delivery to get to that point feel? How do your updates when something goes wrong? Who do you call? How do you contact your provider? So for me, coming from a service perspective, that's what really sets us apart. Sure. And I think it is becoming more and more important.
Agreed. And actually at Partner Connect, at the event we did a month or so ago, we asked the questions to some of our partners who attended, and that was one of the same ones that came up. Like, networks aren't all the same, you know. Next question. What is the next big brew in connectivity, the next trend that we should be looking out for?
I think obviously we've got big changes coming in terms of technology, AI, that's going to be impacting the world of customer services.
Yeah.
And I think some of the use cases for consumer customer services are much more understood and progressed than potentially they were seeing in the business space.
Yeah.
So I think that will come next for us. But to my first point, it's the human element that sits around there. You know, we don't want our customers and our partners talking to a bot.
Yeah.
It might be helpful in certain circumstances, but we want them to be able to have that human connection. That's what sets us apart.
It's leveraging both the human
Yeah.
and the AI,
The
isn't
efficiency
it?
that could potentially bring
Yeah.
to us and helping us to get the right information more quickly to our partners, but
Not forgetting
the human connection that's
Absolutely.
inside.
And then the last one is every career has a bitter brew. It has its ups and its downs. What is one challenge you faced that has shaped your approach today?
So I've been in telecoms for about 12 years.
Don't look old enough.
Ah, thanks. And I definitely do. And I think one of the constants has been change. I have been restructured and moved teams more times than I can count, probably every 18 months or so. And so I think having that change mindset and being able to keep a positive mindset or a flexible outlook has been really important for my career, and sort of rolling with the punches a little bit. I think as well, leading through changes is a really difficult thing to do, and helping teams to navigate that and understand what it means for them. And I think clarity and sharing the information that you can has been really, really important. And actually, I think VM do that really well. And the changes that I've seen and been through within the VM sort of family, where we've had clarity of information and understanding the why. You know, we have had a lot of pivots and changes, and obviously I've moved into this role as well. And that has been really, really important, is understanding the context for what's next. And I think it helps you to understand where you're going. But if you're flexible around it, you never really know what's next and what opportunity could come. So that's something that I think I learned quite early on in my career and have been able to sort of take with me.
I think it's an inevitable part of, especially working in a big corporation, like corporate world, right? It's also knowing that, I think if you know it's going to happen, you don't let yourself get so bogged down with it. Like I felt that at times, even in the 5 years I've been working full time, the countless restructures and everything like that. But you have to understand this. It's not going to be the last either.
Yeah.
So you have to
And
make
it's
the most
for the overall health of the organisation going
100%.
forward, and making sure that we're aligning to the right things and moving with the market. No one wants to be stuck being the dinosaur. You know, it's fun being the challenger brand. That's something we're really proud of, and that we'll continue to be.
Yeah, and like it's everything happens for a reason. Like at the start of this year, we had a bit of change in our team, and it was like I had a minute of being like, what's gonna happen now? What now? But it all happens for a reason. Everything turns out for the best.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think.
Yeah.
So that is a wrap, sadly, on today's episode. A huge thank you, Stacey.
Thank you so much for having me. It was really
Thanks
fun.
for coming and for joining us. It's been great to chat all things partner trust and service strategy. If you've enjoyed the conversation, be sure to hit follow or subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. We'll be back very soon, serving up more stories, more insights, and plenty more behind the scenes connectivity that you won't find anywhere else.